Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom preview stream ahead of double game week 37. As you can see from the title, both mine and Jake's bench boosts are active for this game week. It was never going to be a smooth intro, was it? As always, I am joined by Jake, rocking a new little mustache there, my friend. How's your week been?
Good, thanks. Just bringing it back, getting the first few weird looks and laughs in work, but yeah, nice to have it back. I only got rid of it for the interview just so that I could give them that false impersonation that I was a decent person.
Yeah.
When I realised everyone there was full of different shapes, sizes, tattoos, piercings, I was like, you know what, I think I'm all right.
You thought, you know what? I'll get it back. You know what? I'm thinking I might get rid of the little bit of the goatee down the bottom. I might just go for it as well.
I think you should, mate. I really do. I
Yeah,
think it's a lot towards that goatee.
it really is. It's just hanging on, to be honest. It's just a few like threads. I reckon I might just
But
get
I
rid of
do
it.
think, though, I do think it is a little bit underrated and we'll miss it. I do think we'll miss it if you got rid of it.
But the tash is still pretty strong, regardless.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely keep that. But, yeah, overall, all good.
Good
Nice weather.
stuff.
It's finally been a little bit more consistent, but I've said it now.
You've said it. Well done.
Um, yeah. Yeah, and looking forward to this week's double game week. Looking forward to the game in an hour.
It should be a very, very tasty game this evening. I can't lie.
I mean, yesterday's game was bloody good as well, to be fair.
Who do you want to win now? The Champions League. Who's kind of the one you're rooting for?
I think everyone's got to root for Dortmund, but I wouldn't. As long as it's not Madrid, I think it'd be quite nice.
Mm.
But yeah, I feel like if it's Dortmund, that'd be awesome.
It would be pretty cool. A nice little send off for Marco Reus as well. That'd be pretty cool. Jadon
Yeah,
Sancho winning it, kind of being sent out
that'd
on
be
loan.
funny.
That would be very funny. That would be very
Matson as
funny.
well, even on the sly, just another one of those boys that gets shipped off by Chelsea, goes
Yeah,
and wins the Champions League. Meanwhile, Cucurella's done nothing at Chelsea.
exactly. What is it with like English talent going out to Dortmund and then just becoming world class as soon as they arrive
Yeah,
there? Mental,
I know
mental.
they've got something going there. To be fair to them, and all for it, all for it.
Well, that
That's
is
why
true.
I'm rocking the yellow top.
Mine's on the wall. I didn't fancy, wearing it again.
I have actually got one somewhere. I'll have to dig it out one day. If they win the Champions League, I'll dig it out because it's a fucking old top.
Hmm.
And we'll have to, if they win the Champions League, I'd say we'd have to do a stream with it, but season will be over, won't it? So we'll just have to do it first game of next
Whoa,
season.
whoa, whoa, whoa! It won't be over, mate, because we've got the Euros. Euro
Are we doing
fantasy.
Euros fantasy?
Yeah, we'll do Euro fantasy. We'll get a
All
we'll
right,
get a stream
sound,
going for that.
sound.
You know what I mean? That can you remember? Like I think it was probably nearly 3-4 years ago now. Our final year of university, we were playing it. Happy memories, mate. Happy memories. We're gonna bring it
Yeah,
back.
there they were.
So yeah, there we go. Well, that's enough waffle from me and Jake. We're going to actually get on with this preview stream. We're going to start off with Bed Shitter of the Week. Of course, the most illustrious competition that every player is gagging to win. Now, when I was looking at this, I found it a little bit difficult this week, which players to go for. I feel like a lot of people had pretty good game week scores. A lot of people getting over 100. There wasn't too many players that kind of stank it up this week. The two that I've gone for on screen are KDB and Palmer. Now, the only reason I put Palmer in here is because he just got an assist in a 5-0 win. And that's how much I'm having to stretch out here. But, Jake, let's see what you've got for your potential
Well,
pick
I've
this
actually
week.
have got an alternative to be
Go on.
honest.
Go on, then.
I've got Ollie Watkins.
Okay, I can get on board with that. All right.
I think Brighton have been abysmal. We've spoken about it like plenty of times over the last few weeks. So they are just shipping goals for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And Villa have gone a little bit. I think they've granted they've played quite a few games recently, but I think there was a lot of hype about them getting to the conference final. They they did really let themselves down there. I feel like they should have been beating an Olympiacos side at home, but maybe that's just the English media like kind of backing the English side and not realizing how good Olympiacos are. I could be mistaken there, but I fully thought that was an opportunity missed, and bar a miracle in that second leg this week, they're done for, and I think that's had an effect coming to the weekend's game against Brighton, who, in all honesty, West Ham should have been licking West Ham Villa should have been licking their lips for because that would have. I'm pretty sure that would have all but solidified their top 4 spots had they won that game.
Yeah.
And not only did they not score, but they were really toothless. They just didn't really create a chance. I don't think Watkins had a shot on target for sure, because I had a bet on that, and that's what let me down. Because I think it was Palmer, Watkins, and Salah to have 2 shots on target or something like that.
Yeah.
I think Palmer may have let me down as well, but at least he contributed in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
But Watkins, I feel like he was a bit of a ghost, and I think that's you can say that about pretty much the whole Villa squad that played that game. But maybe that's just because of how many games they played and the fact that they've been a bit winded by that result in midweek. But even so, doesn't change the fact that he did shit the bed, because I think fighting as close as he has been bar this week, up until this week, for top scorer, I think really this is a game he should have capitalised on.
Yeah, definitely. I think going into it, obviously, we kind of looked a lot at Brighton's form over the past few weeks. The fact that an own goal was their goal of the month winner for April as well kind of solidifies how poor Brighton have been over the past since this turn of the year, to be honest. Only 4 Premier League wins, including that Villa one now. So, yeah, I think that's a very fair candidate for it. I'm going to go with KDB. Again, City absolutely demolished Wolves. And for KDB not to come away with an attack in return, me personally taking a -4 to get him in as well, just hurt a little bit. So that's going to be my candidate for this week. So they're the bedshitter of the weeks for game week 36. So get your votes in for that one. We have Ollie Watkins and we have Kevin De Bruyne. So do get your votes in for
I do think on top of that, I would have been tempted to bring Jackson in as well this week, but Watkins' fix just simply was enough to stop me. And that would have been awesome, wouldn't it? I've said awesome like 3 times in this stream, and I don't think I've said that this year.
This is it, mate. This is it. If you do have any questions throughout the stream, get them in the chat, as me and Jake will answer them at various points throughout today's stream. As well, if you do want to become a channel member, just click that join button. It only costs 99p. I can already see we've got some channel members in the chat as well, FPL Shane and FN. But like I said, guys, we will answer your questions throughout the stream, so if you do have any, get them in. But we're going to start off with Jake's team from game week 36. 86 points in the end, Jake, with a -4. Talk us through what went well, and I can definitely see one player that didn't go so well, but yeah, I'll let you talk through it.
Yeah, it is one of those really where it could have gone considerably better, with some players that I missed out on doing really well. But yeah, I think, like you say, the main thing in my team, considering I took, I think, a -4 at least in the end.
Yeah, it was a -4.
Yeah, to make sure that I can't even remember what I did. I think what I did was Petrovic and Branthwaite. So all in all, it wasn't the worst of -4s, because at least I got 11 points from them.
Yeah.
I didn't actually realise till I think the midday Saturday that Branthwaite had run that penalty.
Same.
That was nice. But yeah, I remember putting my team into our friends group chat, and one of the lads in it had even mentioned at the time, being like, I think Dunk over Estev would be the sensible shout there, and lo and behold, it was. I think the only reason I was reluctant to play him was because I'd be contradicting myself with Watkins up top, and of course, like I say, that's why I've nominated him for bedshitter. That probably has a part to play in my bias in the fact that I had him playing, thinking he was going to bag. Meanwhile, Dunk did really well, got a clean sheet and got a bonus point as well. So that was a bit of a bummer. And on top of that, Estev got a yellow card and got hooked off at half time. Or not even, he may have even been hooked off earlier.
Yeah, I think he went off injured. So
yeah, so it wasn't ideal, that. And of course, as much as I'd love to say that the Salah thing worked, I can't really beat myself up over that, because I do think my shout in any other week was the right shout, because Salah, like I predicted, scored a goal. He does like scoring against Spurs. Like Saunders, shout out to him. He always seems to come away with a goal against us, at Anfield especially, and he did it again. So that was nice for quite a few people, I'm sure, with the double game week coming up. I'm sure a lot of people kept Son in or brought him in, even though Spurs have been a little bit, they've been a shambles, haven't they, over the last few weeks?
Yeah.
But yeah, Salah, I'm happy with the captaincy. It's just typical, isn't it, that I'm competing up against someone that scored 4 times. So I feel like that's just a little bit unlucky more than a bad decision from me. because Salah I think he got a goal and an assist, or maybe even a goal and 2 assists. So I can't have too many complaints. Maybe the only complaints I could have is that Salah probably should have scored another.
Yeah, I think when we kind of looked at the data as well last week, we did see that Liverpool were top of that data set as well, and Spurs were down the bottom for XG conceded. So I think holding Salah was a very wise move. Maybe personally, I wouldn't have captained him. I just fancied Haaland that week, and you went obviously against that, but it is what it is. At least Salah did something.
I don't think you predicted him to score 4 times, though. That's the
No,
thing.
no. I think like 1 or 2 goals, to be honest, probably would have been the max I was expecting. So, like you said, on a different day, Haaland gets 1 goal. You've outsmarted everyone by going for Salah. Realistically, a goal and an assist, it's a pretty good return from Mohamed Salah, isn't it? But
I think it's a goal and 2, actually.
is it 2?
Yeah, I think he got. Yeah, he got the Harvey Elliott screamer. He just tinked it to, and I think the other one was a shot saved for Robertson's rebound.
Right. Salah also got no bonus points. FM put in the chat as well. That would have helped.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Like I say, I'm still quite happy with his total score. It's just typical that Haaland happened to score 4 that week.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Gibbs White, he was a player I was potentially telling you to take out last week. Bet you glad you didn't.
Yeah, he's an ever present, isn't he, Mr. Morgan? He's been in my team for a good while now, and he always seems to just graft away and get that little assist or something like that. So yeah, he stays. Don't know. We'll see how he does this week. We'll have a conversation on that, I'm sure, in a second. But yeah, every time I've had faith in him and remained to keep that faith in him, he has come back and repaid me.
100%. Right, let's move on to your team for double game week 37. Like I said at the top of the show, the bench boost is active for both myself and for Jake's team this week. And looking at your bench at the moment, there's probably a little bit of work to do here. Only 1 free transfer.
Oh, mate, there's a lot of work to do. I think, well, like you said to me when I sent you my team, there is definitely a -8 inbound here.
Yeah.
Even looking ahead, I think I've got to be sensible with my decision. As much as I've got to go for this double, taking a -8 is something that I'm not going to be able to do in the final game week. So I've got to be sensible and keep in mind the final games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to also appreciate that this double game week is definitely somewhere I can capitalise on some decent points here with the bench boost. So yeah, I don't doubt it's going to be a few transfers happening here. I think the main transfer that I've oohed and ahed about, but I'm going to have to just succumb to purely for this, is taking Salah out just to afford some funds.
Okay. Who are you thinking for Salah?
I haven't necessarily got that far yet, but I'm just I don't believe I have even 100 grand in my bank. I feel like I've all my funds are in my team, so Salah would just he would open up a lot of opportunities. I don't think you can get many more opportunities than taking Salah out.
I get that. I reckon you could go Watkins down to Jackson.
Yeah,
that frees up $1 million. But how much is in Mbeumo?
I don't think he's terribly expensive. He's 6.7. I guess that is quite expensive for what he's worth.
Yeah, that is quite expensive, to be honest. So yeah, I think it probably is going to be Salah then, isn't it? Salah out to free up some funds to make other transfers.
Yeah, because so Gibbs White, they've got Chelsea at home. That's it. So that's one of those where you could consider him, but then they've got Burnley on the last day. So that's why I'm not too keen on taking him out. And he is only 5.7 mil, so I don't really feel like I'm really making much ground up there.
I think looking at it, realistically, Salah to KDB or Foden, then
I do think Watkins to Jackson isn't a bad shout.
Yeah,
regardless.
Watkins to Jackson, or if you could afford it, Muniz to Jackson, because at least Ollie Watkins will have a chance against Liverpool. You feel at home as well. I feel like that might be a better one to keep in. Steve's got to go out if we're playing the bench boost as well. We need players in, so that's already a -8.
To be fair, though, that is enough that I could work with.
Yeah,
as long as I've got the likes of Jackson in, Another City player in, and then to be fair, I could even double up on the City incomings. I could finally follow suit and get a City defender. They are just so inevitably weird with how they defend, though, aren't they? They absolutely dominated Wolves and still managed to concede.
I think realistically, what you could do: Salah to KDB, a Steve to Gavardiol, and then you could do Muniz or Watkins to Jackson.
Hmm. Here's one though. So
Mm.
looking at Chelsea's fixtures, they've got Forest, Brighton, and then Bournemouth last day.
Yeah.
City have got Fulham, Tottenham, and then West Ham last day.
Mm.
On paper, Chelsea's games are a little bit more straightforward, and I know I'm saying this about Chelsea, but they do seem to actually click into shape, and when they do click into shape, they absolutely twat people.
Mm.
So I don't know whether you think it's maybe worth going Salah to Foden, like we've said, or Salah
Yeah.
to De Bruyne or whatever, and maybe going for a Chelsea defender, someone that you'd be confident enough to say they'd play both games.
I just, I don't know. I don't know with that one. I feel you've already got Petrovic, and then looking at the other defenders, it's a bit of a mishmash because like it's Thiago Silva's potentially last game on the final day of the season, so he might come in. Someone might get dropped. Cucurella's
Also,
sort of there. Gusto's sort of there. Go on,
do you want my rogue shout of the week?
go on. Pick your row shout of the week.
Richarlison.
I don't think it's the worst shout in the world. It's not the worst shout in the world. Spurs have got a really good game as well for 38, so it sets you up nicely for
He
that.
looked good when he came on against Liverpool.
It's not the. Maybe that's another minus. Maybe taking Buemo out.
Possibly could. What, -12 it this week?
Minus 12, mate. You've got the bench boost. You got double game weeks, and I can see some people in the chat FN saying like, "Oh, why are you dismantling your team this week? You've got players that play good fixtures next week. Why not play the bench boost next week?" Valid is a valid argument, but
The only thing that you can say against that is the fact that they're like you have that second opportunity, don't you?
100%, 100%.
I think it might be better for Jake to just bench boost in 38. Oh, I don't know about that.
Let me have a look. Right, let's say you make no transfers, okay? I'm just going to move your team
Yeah.
along one. This is if you make no transfers, okay? That's your
Uh-huh.
bench. Can you see that?
I'm just waiting for it to load in, unfortunately.
So your
because,
team would be Petrovic against Bournemouth, Burn against Brentford, Dunk against United, Branthwaite against Arsenal, Gibbs White against Burnley, and Buemo against Newcastle, Palmer against Bournemouth, Salah Wolves, Son Sheffield United, Palace for Watkins, Haaland West Ham, and then on the bench it'd be Areola against City, Muniz against Luton, a Steve against Forest. I think the bench boost is better played this week, in my personal
yeah,
opinion.
because I feel like even if we were to bench boost next week, I'm then gonna still want to take out Areola against City.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still want to take out. I feel like someone else is on the bench. You've got Dunk against United. I really don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And Buemo against Newcastle, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then who is it? Burnley have Forest.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of players in that playing against each other. Esteve might be injured, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
Areola's playing City. Like, it's just I don't think. Well, you know what I'm even going to say? I think that's a terrible shout. I actually think this week is a no-brainer, purely for the fact that there are so many players playing twice. Even if I didn't I actually would argue that even if I didn't to make a transfer at all until the end of the season, my team still looks better for the fixtures this week than it would next week.
Agreed.
Because you got West Ham, you got Areola at home to West Ham on the bench. You got Aït-Nouri at home to Palace. I know Palace are a different outfit at the moment, but they're away to Wolves, and that can always have the potential of a low-scoring game at Molineux.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Muniz. City do just like to concede that row goal, so if anyone's going to score, it'll be someone like that, just poaching in. And then, of course, Esteve, who's injured, and he would be next week anyway, most likely.
Yeah.
So I really don't think it's worth even considering me not bench boosting this week.
I think what the bench boost does as well is it allows you to go and take a more hefty minus as well for these double game week players. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, which players are you putting in the shortlist then?
To bring in or to take out?
Well, to bring in. Let's start with the bring-ins first.
So probably a City defender.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes the most sense from what you said, especially when I've got Petrovic already.
Yeah.
Which would then actually open up the striker option for Jackson.
Yeah.
And then in turn, that would also open the door for the midfield potential combination of Richarlison and a City midfielder, probably Foden, just to afford the likes of Richarlison and Jackson, because they're not necessarily the cheapest options.
Mm-hmm.
I will save money, but I don't know if De Bruyne will kind of nullify that Salah replacement.
Yeah. Okay. I think that'll work.
Yeah, I get what FN's saying like you don't have that second chance when you've got 4 single game week players. That's fair enough, but that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid here.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm going to be getting rid of a Stev who was not playing at all. So even if I did bring another player in that was a single playing player, it's already increased my opportunity of points because it's going to be playing one more game than a Stev will be.
He's also playing against Tottenham as well, so realistically, are Burnley keeping a clean sheet there? Probably not.
Well, no, and also, mate, I've actually captained Son. I know it says that you've put it on Haaland because you don't like my shouts, and to be honest, mate, I actually completely understand why you wouldn't captain Son because Spurs have been awful, but for some reason, they should beat Burnley. Burnley just seem to be shipping goals for fun. I remember Son scored like a Puskas winner, did he, against Burnley?
Your memory's better than mine.
You what?
I said your memory's better than mine.
Do you remember when he ran the whole pitch?
Which season was this? Was this season?
Oh no, lad! This was a good few years ago. But he won. I swear he at least got nominated. But I think he might have won the Puskas award for like dribbling from his own half and just beating everyone. I'm pretty sure. I'm more confident it was against Burnley than I am that it was the Puskas award that he won. He definitely won goal of the season and that, but I think he won more than that.
Son wins Puskas award against Burnley in 2020.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then on top of that, City, as much as they should batter Spurs, the Spurs are the only team that seem to make Pep Guardiola poo himself, bar Liverpool, like of a few seasons ago.
Yeah, I'm just watching the Puskas award-winning goal now. He picks it up like edge of the box for Spurs.
Yeah. And that was at the Spurs stadium as well. So.
Oh my god, it's a fantastic goal, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh my god. That is a great goal, to be fair. I'll give you that one.
I like that comment from I'm 1974. Salah Muniz and the Burnley bloke.
Not even naming him, just a Burnley bloke. Sorry, get this Burnley bloke out of here.
Foden, Guardiola, and Jackson. Yeah, that does. I do get that from 1974. The only extra hit I would take there would be just pure vibes of bringing Richarlison in for Mbeumo. But
I think I'd go for it, you know.
Well, then in that situation, I am taking a -4 for a second option, aren't I? And Brentford away to Bournemouth, I feel like Bournemouth should win that as well.
I mean, interestingly, you say that, but Brentford have been the best defence over the past 5 game weeks for XG conceded. So, just putting it out there, maybe Bournemouth might struggle in that one. Might be a little bit difficult. Cool. Any final remarks for your team, Jake? Or am I going to expect to see you on Saturday morning going, Tom, I've taken a -20. It's all gone wrong.
No, I won't take more than a -12. Otherwise, I do feel like I'm going against myself. I don't understand your point, FN, unfortunately, because I get that you're saying that it's just like if you've got a single player playing 1 game week, it's not giving me that second opportunity. But the thing is that point is just as relevant next week when there are literally no players playing doubles.
True.
So I don't understand your point now. I think you're fighting a lost cause there because at the end of the day, the fixtures are a lot nicer here, and I will have to take hits anyway next week if I'm not going to do anything this week.
Yeah, agreed. Your team needs a little some hefty minuses, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
And why not? I'm in the middle of no man's land.
Hmm.
It's game week 37. Like I'd understand the critical reviews and stuff if I was in the top like 10, 20,000, but I might as well. This is the only way that people will go up from the position that I'm in to a decent position in the league at this stage of the season is by ignoring what is the safe or the obvious move. You've got to be a little bit more tactical and just
Yeah,
jump
yeah,
in the
yeah.
deep
Because
end a little bit more.
realistically, your season is over.
Exactly.
But
I remember a
with
few seasons ago. I don't know, was it me and you that both took like a minus 80?
yeah, we both took a -80 on the final day. I remember that.
Uh,
Yeah, you might as well just have a little bit of fun with it. You're not really playing for rank this year. Like you're kind of done. But yeah, it is what it is.
yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Right, let's move away from your team. We're going to move on to how my team did in game week 36. 97 points in the end. I did take a -4, and I think I got around 1,000 rank decrease. So we're at 182. Top 100k is probably looking a little bit unlikely, to be honest. Like, we're going to need some miracle picks for the next few weeks and hope that some differentials work out, to be honest. But overall, the team did pretty well. I can't really argue against it. It would have been nice if Newcastle had kept a clean sheet, as Dan Burn was one of the players that I did go and pick up. KDB as well did look very magical against Wolves, but did come away with 0 attack in return. So that was a little bit frustrating as well, especially when I did bring him in for the minus. Isak missing the penalty as well probably means that he's not going to be on penalties for next week. So could be a little bit of a difficult test. But obviously there is the news that Callum Wilson again has picked up some sort of an injury and might miss this game week. So maybe Isak might be a good little option potentially. Other than that, kind of I got all the benching decisions right, so nothing kind of happened there. So very happy in that regard, and nothing really kind of else to kind of point out or talk about, to be honest, with this game week, to be honest. So let's move on to game week 37, and we can see how the team is lining up for this week. Let me just get Jake's face back on the stream. There he is. So currently we're looking like this. We have pretty much, well, I can field the full 11 of double game week players for game week 37. I am playing the bench boost myself as well, and my current plans are a -4. We're going to take Gusto out, and I think I'm going to go for Emerson Royale, and we're going to take Solanke out, and then we're going to go for Jackson up front. So that's the current thinking, and that gives me a very, very strong team. It means I have 13 doubling players with a bench boost, and the 2 players that aren't doubling, I'm pretty happy having anyway. Arsenal against Manchester United, they are the best defence in the league. They've been the best defence, again, over the course of the whole season. I feel very confident that they could go to Old Trafford and get a clean sheet. And then we've got Branthwaite against Sheffield United, second best defence in the league in terms of clean sheets as well. And recent performances have been very, very strong from Everton as well. So I'm, pretty hopeful with those guys as well that they might pick up some points. Hopefully, maybe a clean sheet or 2. But yeah, I think the big one, the big risk is Emerson Royale in for Gusto. But yeah, it's kind of Emerson Royale or taking a gamble on a Brighton defender, and outside of Lewis Dunk, trying to find which one is playing games pretty consistently. It's a big gamble. It's a huge gamble.
Would you not?
Go on.
No, I get what you mean. I think the only thing is Royale was absolutely torn to shreds for Spurs against Liverpool.
He was.
So that's the only thing I'll be worried about. But it is Burnley, I guess. Would you be tempted by anyone that's got a single game week, or do you think
No.
you'd be?
I'd rather gamble on a double game week player.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, on the Newcastle train, so we've said, going back to me again, it's always about me.
Oh yeah, go on.
We've said, so let's just put a name to the position for hypothetical sake. Let's say Gvardiol, Foden, Richarlison, Jackson. They're the 4 that I've mentioned and you've mentioned.
Yeah.
Would you be tempted to go for Gordon instead of Foden, just to branch it out a little bit? Because I've got no Newcastle players. Oh no, I've got Dan James.
It's a really, really tough one. The only thing I think that would sway me towards Phil Foden is them fighting for the title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, Newcastle are fighting for European football. They could finish above Spurs. So,
Well, then would you say Gordon's a better shot than Richarlison? Or do
maybe.
you...
I think the fixtures for Newcastle are a lot better. We've obviously spoke about Brighton's poor form as a whole this year, and then they're playing against United, and we saw what happened on Monday night against Crystal Palace. Like, if they've still got no fit defenders, which it looks like they're not going to have, Anthony Gordon, Isak, if Callum Wilson's fit as well, could have an absolute field day at Old Trafford.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof. Well, that's some food for thought, isn't it? Definitely going to be a Saturday morning job.
Saturday morning, -20.
Yeah, I've taken a minus. I've brought in bloody Phil Foden, and then I've changed my mind and minused again for Gordon.
Well, it is an interesting one. If you could afford it, would you like? It would probably require like a -16 or whatever.
Yeah.
But would you be tempted to do Mooney's up to Isak? Like, he's been bagging in goals.
Not necessarily a terrible idea, but
Again, a double game.
It's really tearing apart my team. It's more just looking at face value at my team's score, then, isn't it? After that, not including the -16. But like I say, what's the harm in having a little bit of fun at this stage in the season?
All I'm going to say to you though is, what is stopping Newcastle absolutely ripping that United back line apart?
Yeah, no, you are right. And Brighton as well, to be fair.
Like, yeah, exactly. Realistically, Isak goes off, gets a hat-trick, smashes it in one of the games, makes up for the minus you've just took.
Yeah. Oh, lad.
I'm just putting it out there for you. I'm just pointing out. And you've got the bench boost on top of it.
I'm going to just in the background try and do those transfers and just see if it's actually financially possible. But we can hope.
I'm 1974 put Royale. There are punts and then there are Tom. Well, this is the thing, right? I want Nicholas Jackson for this double game week. Chelsea have been one of the best attacks in the league. We'll come on to see it over the past 5 game weeks. I really want them. I don't think Gusto's minutes are secured. I can see FN suggesting going Solanke to João Pedro. I'm just not feeling it. I don't feel the
I get why he said that, though, because he's got that double, doesn't he? Who do they have last game, Brighton?
It's just not a great double. I just don't like it. It's Newcastle and Chelsea. It's not a great...
And what's the last game of the season for Brighton?
United. And, calling that one's a bit wet. I don't really know which way that's
yeah. Although, to be fair, they did the double over them last season.
Exactly. Did they beat him earlier this season as well?
I can't remember.
They might have done. I feel like they might have done, you know.
Did João Pedro score 7?
I'm just going to quickly have a look at that. But
I can't wait for João.
I want to go for Jackson. Like, he is the one that I'm just a bit hot for. Like, hot under the collar for, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I think that's the only way I can do it is if I take Gusto out, but I don't have any money elsewhere. Yeah, Brighton won 3-1. So, yeah.
And who scored?
I'm just getting up now. Danny Welbeck, Pascal Gross, João Pedro. Maybe game week 38 punt. Game week 38 punt. That's it.
That's right. I'll just have a quick look and see how he's done in the fixtures that they've got this week. Then, head-to-head against Newcastle.
Head-to-head against Newcastle. Now you test it. I'm just going to load it up on my phone because it's quicker to do and I don't have to do this. Right, let me do that. I get what you're saying, FM, about it.
They beat Newcastle earlier on in the season.
Oh, stop it.
It was an Evan Ferguson hat-trick. Maybe he's who you should be bringing in.
Was that when we went to Copenhagen? I feel like that was when we went to Copenhagen. We got on the plane and then we went, bloody Evan Ferguson's just bagged that trick.
Yeah, we were waiting in the airport, weren't we, when that happened, wasn't it? Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, someone said get Webster instead. The thing is, I really, really can't call what that Brighton defence is going to be. Realistically, Emerson Royale's a massive gamble as well because, like Jake said, he was absolutely abysmal at the weekend. But what have Spurs
Just
got
for,
in terms of
just for
defenders?
context, Pedro scored in the reverse against Chelsea.
Why have you done this? Why have you done? But I want Jackson, Jake. I want Jackson.
For Solanke.
Yeah, for Solanke. Oh,
No, I actually think Jackson is the right call. So I'm only messing with you. If it makes it any better, Jackson got an assist in that game as well.
oh, there we go then. That's sorted me out. You
Oh my
look at
God,
it and
Chelsea
ask
makes
yourself,
the
is it
Forest
really worth
at
taking the
home.
-4 to get Gusto out? I ask myself. I think it is worth the minus, especially if Jackson pops off. It's definitely worth the -4. Because realistically, Gusto's coming back from an injury. How many minutes is he realistically going to play over this double game week?
Exactly.
Whereas Jackson, there's no real competition for him. He's starting to hit form as well. So I might as well just have a little bit of a gamble on it. Take a little bit of a punt. His ownership is still ridiculously low. It's below 15%. So if he does anything, I'm gonna get massive rank gains out of it. So I just think it's worth it. I think it's worth a little bit of the gamble. We've got the bench boost. Hopefully, kind of covers off some of the extra points. Maybe we've got a pretty strong team as well, full of doublers as well. So I'm pretty bullish on this -4, and I think I'm gonna stay that way as well.
Oh my God, Tom.
Go on.
My team actually looks quite good here.
What minus has that taken to get it to look like that?
Uh, let's say Guardiola for hypotheticals. -16. So I've brought.
Oh, whoa, whoa,
So I've
whoa.
got.
Hold on, hold on,
So
hold
I've
on.
got.
I'll put it in for you. Go on then.
So we've got. I haven't confirmed it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
let me say.
yeah,
But I've got Guardiola in for Esteve.
yeah.
Got Richarlison for Salah.
Okay.
Foden for Mbuemo. Jackson for Watkins. And then Isak for Muniz.
Oh, that is filthy, you know.
Oh my God.
Lad, I think that's pretty filth.
Am I going to regret not having Salah final game week though?
Bring him back.
I'd have to take a minus.
Right, I've got it on screen for everyone now, so they can see what Jake's done. So that's in there. Lads, you've got a full team of doublers, and then your bench for the bench boost would be Areola, Gibbs White against Chelsea. Forest need the points down the bottom end of the table. Branthwaite against Sheffield United, and 8 Nori against Palace.
Do I take another minus?
Who for? Who for?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think you need another minus off the back of that. I think that looks pretty filthy.
Mm.
I'd be well tempted to go with that, you know.
The only thing I'm concerned by is Guardiola because it looks like every City defender's back fit.
I get that, but he's been playing like a right mid.
Hmm. Has he been playing every game?
Let me get his minutes up for you, but I think it's pretty secure at the moment. Gvardiol has been playing 90 on the bench for the FA Cup, 120 against Real Madrid, 90, 45 against Palace, 90. So yeah, pretty 90. So it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
This is where like usually conversation happens, Jake, to be honest.
I've done it.
You done it?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not even waited for the press conference. He's gone balls to the walls. He's taken a
Well, I'm
minus.
taking a -16. What's another minus going to do?
Well, lad, I do hope it works out. I think that looks really strong.
But the question now is who do I captain?
Well, I think you got to go different. I think I'd go Isak.
Would you be against Son?
No, I wouldn't be against Son, but I just think
I get why you're confident in Isak's like goal scoring ability.
like they're playing Brighton and United. They're both tosh.
Oh well, that can be a Saturday job. I've done too much tonight.
Yeah. I reckon, right, if you come to the stream, I'll get a spinny wheel out. I'll put everyone in the spinny wheel for you, and that'll be your captain. And
All right, Sam,
if
we'll
it
do that
lands
on
on
Saturday.
Lewis Dunk, you've got to do it.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, it's got to the point where anyone in there should be getting me close to double figures.
It is a really strong team. I think that will pay off. I hope. I hope it does, mate. Well, we'll see you in here
Yeah,
next
mate,
week.
same.
Right, let's move on. Let's talk about team data over the past 5 game weeks. I think this has been a really useful tool for both of us since we have introduced it to the preview stream. Hopefully, it's helping you guys out as well. On top, we do have the worst defenses in the league over the past 5 game weeks for XG conceded. And on the bottom, we have the best attacks in the league. Let's take a look at the worst defenses so far. West Ham have replaced Manchester United as the worst team over the past 5 game weeks. No real surprise there, to be honest. Everyone's kind of been getting a slice, really, from West Ham, haven't they? Battering teams over the past few weeks. So, yeah, it's not been a good few weeks for Hammers fans.
Well, they managed to draw against Liverpool.
Well, yeah. Let's forget about that one. Interestingly, though, with a lot of people having the City kind of triple up, if the title does go down to the final game of the season, City play West Ham.
Oh, that could be messy.
That could be very messy. You could feel very confident. Even if they don't, even if it doesn't go all the way down. Like, City could have a field day. They love to score against West Ham as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, Arsenal have the bloody second best defence in the league.
Exactly.
And Everton.
Exactly. So I'm just going to put that one out there. Some other interesting teams on here. Spurs, interestingly, after the demolishing job that Liverpool did at the weekend, they are second worst over the past 5 game weeks. I know a lot of people are looking at Spurs defenders, so potentially maybe something to consider with that one. And then Sheffield United and Luton, pretty self-explanatory. And as always, Manchester United still featuring on here as one of the worst defences over the past 5 game weeks. So maybe as well with the injuries that are starting to mount up in that back line, probably worth, not going for the likes of Dalot or Onana, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I get that. I get Onana though purely for save points, and I'm sure he'll get something for you with your bench boost.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't go and bring him in, but if I had him, I think it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something you need to be rushing around to get rid of either.
100%. Right, let's take a look at the best attacks in the league, and no real kind of surprises this week. Liverpool at top, then it's Arsenal, then it's City, then it's Chelsea, then it's Newcastle. Arguably some of the most informed teams in the league apart from Liverpool, but you seem to just be a little bit of an anomaly at the moment, picking up really good data but not wins. So maybe the past 2 game weeks you could slap. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I've just taken Salah out, Satbirds as well. Yeah, no, the thing is, though, it probably does. If you've got Salah out, captain up, triple captain, do whatever you can now that I've taken him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like I think Liverpool should do all right. I mean, they're playing Villa away on a Monday night, and I do think, like, of course, like being away from home against a Villa side that are being in bad form, the fans are going to be up for that game. And on top of that, it's a Monday night, and that always that always does add a little bit more advantage to the home side. I always think.
I can get on board with that. Interestingly, though, one team I did want to talk about was Arsenal. Now, their assets have been cooking over the past 5 game weeks. Havertz is the top scoring player over that time period. Is it worth taking the likes of Havertz and Saka out for a double game week player, do you think?
No, I wouldn't say it's worth taking them out, but I don't think it's worth bringing them in.
Okay, I can get on board
Like
with
I
bringing
wouldn't
them
bring
in.
But I don't think it's worth taking them out, especially with them fighting for the title and with them being quite ruthless in front of goal at the moment.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this situation to you because this is probably how most people are gonna have to make a decision this week. You've either got Saka or Havertz in your team already, and you're looking to potentially bring in Anthony Gordon, Phil Foden, or KDB. And the only way you can do it is take Saka or Havertz out. Would you do it?
Yeah, I probably would actually. It's a very good way to put it. God, you swung me around fast, didn't you?
Bearing in
Yeah,
mind,
it's
though,
a good way to say.
Arsenal are playing Manchester United. Again, one of the worst defences over the past 5 game weeks. Arsenal, one of the best
I
attacks.
know it's that trick that everyone falls for when their eyes are bigger than the belly.
Mm.
You see a player as you've seen, I'm the biggest culprit of all this week. Like as soon as you see someone with 2 fixtures, you just assume, and like most of the time, and statistically on paper, you should be correct that they're going to get better scores because they've got that second game to add on to their previous. But then we have fallen for it before where players have absolutely slapped and only had 1 game. I think Bruno did it a few weeks ago in a double game week where he got a couple goals.
Game week
No
34.
one really thought about him. You what?
Game week 34, it was the week I was tempted to bring him in.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's just one of those. It is still a bit of a safer bet going for someone that's in form, but also has that second game. Because even if they do go crazy against United, the names you've just mentioned, the Gordons and the Fodens, etc., they should still do well enough to match, if not eclipse, whatever an Arsenal player does at Old Trafford, even if they do win, say, 3 or 4-0 and Saka scores twice. You'd like to think Foden's going to get 2 goals over the 2 games.
I think it's an interesting one, especially when we come on to the next point. We'll kind of look at double game week and expected points for this week because, interestingly, no Arsenal players feature on it. It's all double game week players that are in this list. So that would suggest from a data standpoint, taking all bias out of your decision, just looking at purely data, the double game week players are going to score more. So I think it's probably worth it. It's probably going to be an extremely tight call and probably down to personal judgment, but it's going to be a tight one.
I think that as ruthless as Arsenal are at the moment, I think if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd keep them in. Or at least keep one of them in. If it was Liverpool fighting for the title still, I'd keep Salah in. The only reason I'm not keeping him in is because we are unpredictable and we can screw things up. Whereas Arsenal do seem to get the result every single week, come rain or shine, despite whoever they come up against. So I do believe Arsenal. I'm quite confident Arsenal will comfortably beat United. Okay. So I do feel like there are goals there and points to be had for players, but I think, like you say, those expected points are going to be quite clearly based on the fact that these players have 2 games to do better than the Arsenal players, unfortunately. I'm sure if you went down, scrolled down far enough, you'd find Arsenal players that would still be showing decent showings for that 1 game week.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just because everyone on this list does have a double game week, so just maybe getting a goal and playing the second game, massively going to outscore someone that just has the single game.
Surprised Bruno's in there.
A little bit. Obviously, he's been doing quite well over the past few game weeks. Starting off at the top, we do have Erling Haaland, play a clear country mile as well. 16.1 predicted points for him. Wow. Then it's Cole Palmer with 12.8. So realistically, I think if you hold him ranked this week, Haaland's probably the safe bet for captaincy.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
And if you've probably got the triple captainship kind of still lying about as well, probably worth slapping it on the big man this week.
Oh yeah, 100%. If you've got the triple captainship, I would definitely suggest Haaland.
Yeah, I feel everyone else. Yeah, I feel everyone else after that is kind of pretty self-explanatory. Palmer, KDB, Son, Isak, Gordon. Interestingly, Gvardiol, a player you've just bought in, the highest defender on this list as well with 11.3. So hopefully that bodes well for you and your team, mate. Interestingly, there's a huge disparity between Foden and KDB. Now, I wouldn't think it would be this big, but it's quite a few points in it. I think about 2.3 or 2.4 looking at the data there. So, maybe if you were stuck for a decision this week, KDB or Foden, this could help you out. Which way would you potentially lean on that one, Jake? You've got a choice. You've got budget for both.
Well, I've just brought Foden in, but it depends. It depends. I brought Foden in because I've needed money to spread out. Mm-hmm. If you're just making that transfer and you've got the money, or you're willing to take out a Salah or someone that's going to free up some money, De Bruyne is such a clear and obvious bet because he's just the more talismanic figure, if that's a word, come the end of the season. But I don't think Foden's a bad alternative, especially if you don't have quite enough money or if you're looking to spread that money out like I've just done.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And then the final player I wanted to talk about, Brennan Johnson. He featured on the predicted points last week, got himself an assist. He's back again. Could he be a differential option?
Sorry, what did you say, mate? Sorry, I've just been messaged by my leg break, mate, and
Oh, it's fine.
I've
It's fine. Don't you worry about it. Don't pay attention to what's going off in front of you. Don't
Yeah,
bother.
so rude.
I just said Brendan Johnson. He featured on here last week for predicted points, and he's back again this week. Obviously picked up an assist against Liverpool. Do you think he could be a differential option?
Possibly. I think it just depends how Postecoglou lines up his side because they've got Burnley, who I think they'll beat no matter what team he puts out because he's going to put out the players in the right positions. You'd imagine.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who he benches and stuff. I imagine Maddison and Richarlison will start if they're fully fit because they made a massive difference when they came on against Liverpool. So I think it just depends if he plays. If he plays both games, I do actually think that's an understandable score for him because he does seem to be fairly consistent in front of goal, maybe scoring like every 3 or 4 games. And it does seem like Postecoglou likes him. So he's been quite an ever-present in the side. But of course, like I say, with Maddison and Richarlison back, maybe that'll tempt fate with his position a little bit. And then, of course, the City game, who knows how that will go. That it could be a player like just a road player like Brennan Johnson or a Werner or something that pops up with a differential goal there, or they could get battered. So who knows?
True. That does finish up today's preview stream, but before we finish up, we're going to answer some of your guys' questions. And of course, I'm going to end bed shitter of the week before we do that. Interestingly, it's KDB that's taken home the award this week. 57% of the vote for him, 42% of the vote for Watkins. So thank you, YouTube, as always, for taking your commission on these polls. So congratulations to Kevin De Bruyne. Might feature again next week if he does blank, or maybe doesn't feature. Who knows? Could be back-to-back awards for him. Right, let's have a look. Some of the questions that you guys have been asking throughout today's stream. FPL Shane has said, who would your top 3 defender picks be this week, excluding Manchester City? Currently thinking Porro, Chalobah, and a risky Trippier. What do you think?
I like Porro and I like Chalobah. I actually quite like Chalobah. I think that's a good shout because he scored against Spurs and he played the game against West Ham, getting a clean sheet there. So I don't know if he got an attack and return in that game. I don't think he did. But he'll be a really good cheap alternative. Maybe that's someone I minus 20 for to bring in for 8 Nori. But we'll worry about that coming Saturday. But yeah, I like those two. And I think it depends after that. I would probably be more inclined to go for like a Dan Burn because then you've got that. It's another cheap transfer, and he's also pretty set in stone to play both games.
Yeah.
I don't know how things are going with Trippier. I assume the fact that it's a risk means that he may not start, but he's at least coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'd be more inclined to go for Dan Burn there. And then if you're looking for, if you're not 100% asked about a doubler, then maybe go for someone that's just got a good run in. But even then, I think most of them, just looking here, are actually teams that have got a double this week. If they're doubling, they're most likely to be slightly easier games come the final day. I think possibly go for a Bournemouth player, but otherwise, I think you've just got to stick with like the two you've suggested in Porro and Chalobah, and maybe go for a Dan Burn if you're not quite confident on Trippier.
Yeah, all right, I can get on board with that. As City are away, Foden over the meat shield for captain.
The meat shield, is that Haaland?
That is Haaland, mate.
Yeah. What's the logic in that? Is it just Foden's better away from home?
Yeah.
I'll let you answer that one.
I think anyone outside of Haaland for City, really, I probably wouldn't take a look at. I think if you're going to go for a City player, go for Haaland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my current thinking, to be honest.
Yeah, because I think it goes to show like Haaland has broken records, I'm sure, for as minimal touches in a game, and he will last the full 90. But if Foden's as quiet as Haaland in a game, then he will get hooked off, no
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah, 100% agree with that one. FN has asked for the score for tonight's game.
Oh, I want to say a Bayern win, but I feel like it's going to be 3-1 Madrid after extra time.
Okay, I'm gonna go 2-2 full time and extra time, and then it's gonna go straight to pens, and I think Bayern are gonna sneak it on pens.
Tom, I really hope you're right. I
I
would
hope
love to
I'm
see
right.
a German final. It do. I've heard it would do your work a lot of good as well.
It would do work a lot of good. It really, really would. It'd do good numbers
Did
that
you get a
type of thing.
bonus?
Nah, we didn't get. We got hardly any bonus this year. It's crap.
Oh, bollocks.
Come on.
Maybe a Dortmund Bayern final. I'll just make them a little bit happier.
Yeah, yeah. Sort it out, lads. Come on, get on with it. Right. The of course the most important question of the week. What's going to be the highest scoring game, Jake, for you? Do you think?
I'm going to go for. You know what? Despite all of this, I'm going to go for United Arsenal. Havertz and Saka to get 2 assists each. Well, no, an assist each.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna go Everton Sheffield United. That's a game that
Oh
haunts.
yeah, I mate. I hope I love the prediction because I've got big Branthwaite, so I'm hoping for a couple more penalties. One from the boy.
Oh yeah, that'd be good stuff. That would be
Here's a
good stuff.
question then, just to finish us off. Do I -20 for Chalobah?
I don't think you can get him, can you? You've got Palmer,
Can I not?
Jackson, and Petrovic.
Oh, you only allowed 3.
Yeah, you're only allowed three. Bloody
Well,
hell.
my fun's been ruined.
Oh.
What's this week's challenge?
It's Are You Single? And it's single game week players score double points.
Okay, so it just pretty much cancels out the doubles.
Sort of. I mean, it doesn't cancel out the doubles because
That's where you'd probably want an Arsenal player.
yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I don't think I've done mine yet. I'll
What was
probably do
last
it.
week's? Do you remember?
It was shots for strikers.
Well, it's like double for a striker or
Yeah, I
something.
think for every shot they got an extra 2 points.
Oh wow.
So obviously having Haaland was a little bit of a cheat code last week, especially if you captained him. Because I think I did extremely well in it and still managed to come away like crap. Let me have a look. Let me load it up. Fantasy challenge, managed team, previous week. Yeah, I got 114 and came 7th out of 8th in our league with
Yeah, I wonder who
114.
came 8.
So who got top? Let me have a look. Elias came top with 186 in our league, so congratulations to him.
Did I not go in the leaderboard because I didn't enter?
Yeah, it looks that way, mate.
Yeah, because I forgot about it.
Yeah, he came 171st in Sweden. So congratulations to him. Came 17,000 overall as well. Had a pretty strong team. Haaland with the captaincy. Isak, Anthony Gordon, Palmer, Saka, Havertz. I think I went for like triple Arsenal defence or quadruple Arsenal defence and it worked out. So, yeah. It paid off. It paid off. Not really. I'll get the free holiday one day off them.
So what? How many points did you get for Haaland on his own?
So what's half of 86? 43?
Oh, 43.
Yeah, 43.
Wow.
Pretty good going, that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's quite. I like that one. I like that one.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if they'll do it next year. It looks like the player numbers are slowly going down each year, but you know we'll see what happens. Maybe I think they need good prizes, and that'll probably keep people interested.
Yeah, definitely.
At the moment, winning like a mug and a rucksack's not really gonna whet the appetite, is it?
Yeah, we need a trip to Skegness or something.
Yeah, get a trip to Skeggy or like Nicholas Jackson's jock strap. Like something to whet the appetite a little bit for the
Yeah,
FPL.
one of Nicholas Jackson's bed shitter award trophies.
If they gave one of them out, that would be it because they're illustrious. Like I say every single
Yeah,
week.
I was going to say that. I actually am just going to throw it out there now.
Mm.
I think Jackson might win Bedchitter because we've both brought him in.
He's fully gonna do it. He's
I feel like he might be in the running for another Bedchitter.
and he would win bedshitter of the season if he did that. Like he won 4 in a row, like consecutively.
Yeah, and then he went quiet, and now
Well,
here he
he went
is. The
quiet
hype,
because everyone sold him, so he didn't even get mentioned.
literally, and now here he is getting the hype, and it's let us all down
I
again.
should keep a spreadsheet for next season. Who wins each one?
Yeah, we should.
Because then we can give out the big one. Because otherwise, now I'm gonna have to go through every single stream and watch. It's a lot of effort, that, isn't it?
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we're gonna
So
leave
you'll
it
get
there.
hooked into the shit that we're talking. You'll end up watching the whole thing.
I know. Yeah, I'll just be like, I remember that conversation we had about that. What a load of
About fucking
bollocks.
shut up.
Right, we're going to leave it there, guys. We're going to go and watch the Bayern versus Real Madrid game. I hope you go and do the same as well. Like I said, there will be a deadline stream. I'll be live from 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. So if you do have any questions or want your team rating, do come along to that stream as well. But a thank you from me and a thank you from Jake as well, I'm guessing, my friend.
Yeah. Thanks
Cool.
very much. See you Saturday.
See you Saturday, guys. Bye bye. Where's the end button? Where is it? There it is.